Welcome back, baseball fans, to another elimination video. The World Champs eliminating the Ohio players. Now what you're looking at is last year's last place finish for the Ohio players. Actually, 13 and 16 isn't that bad. They've had worse years. They had the first pick in the draft in the 72 and 73 drafts, where that's where they initially acquired Vita Blue. So a year ago, Bill Madlock tore it up for a losing team, hitting 420 and 112 at bats. Easler 394. Don't blame them. My goodness. They had Dave Cash, who's no longer around. Jerry White's no longer around. Dave Rosello. Nice offense, it's 297. Pitching, Mike Norris, 7-2, 228 ERA, 3 complete games. Great year. Branch Jackson's was okay. Vita Blue struggled 2-4 with an ERA at 6. As did Andahar. Frankly, John Hiller was way past his prime. Jesse Jefferson, pretty bad year. Nino Espinosa signed to the roster off of the Mets, I believe. They did have Victor Cruz a year ago, who was setting up Hiller for what that was worth. So yeah, yuck. And again, there wasn't much expected out of this team. So, a couple things here. Dick Davis's card is not the 1981 card yet. Neither is Jerry Mumphrey's 83 card. Dan Dreesen's got his 79 card, for instance. Let's take a look at what happened now. And now, offensively, it's similar. Outstanding performance. A 3.02, but the pitching got significantly better. The ERA was over 5. It's now down to 3.34. Yeah, you credit the pitching, but you might also want to credit the defense a little bit there. You know, Hendricks a 2 in right field. You got a -3 arm catcher in Tony Pena. You know, Rodney Scott's a 2 infielder. Driesen's a 2 at first. Mumphrey is a 3 in center field. So the defense helped out the pitching when it could. Offensively, you still had the monster year of George Hendrick with 69 hits. He would be the MVP with a 379 average, which is 61 points over his batting average for that year. It's the 17 doubles we like, and the 30 RBI to pace a very balanced team. Unlike the Phillies, that was just Mike Schmidt and a bunch of other guys. This team's got all these guys with 20 RBIs in there. 24, 27, 22, 24, 20, 25. You know, that's pretty good. Pretty cool. Pitching staff. So Victor Cruz now suddenly is thrust into the closer role, and boom, 10 saves, 95-cent ERA. He responded nicely to that. Royley Jackson and Jesse Jefferson, well, same roles. They just pitched a lot better, plain and simple. Mike Norris, very similar performance. More opportunities, though, more starts, more games played, postseason run, that sort of thing, to show his wares and show how good he was. So he went from 7-2 to 11-3. Perfectly on cue. Vita Blue made a nice comeback. He was 2-4, now 8-3, and the ERA is respectable 3.13. And Andahar had a fantastic postseason when it mattered the most. He didn't do a lot in the regular season, nor did Jackson Todd, but that's okay. Norris and Blue did most of the heavy lifting. And with that, now let's take a look at the card set of the 12 players who will be part of an attempted repeat next year. We begin with the designated hitter Dick Davis, who had a big game 7 with a home run, reaching base his first 3 times, helping the Ohio players get a lead off of Steve Carlton that they would not relinquish. Dick Davis, great DH card, really crushes lefties. Tony Pena, a -3 arm catcher for an expansion team. That's a heck of a coup there. Here's second baseman Jerry Manuel. It's fairly cool over here. The homer double. Homer 1 double there. Batting average is very low, but that's a lot of fun if you can get those. Manuel had 8 home runs and 86 at-bats. That's Mark McGwire pace. So yeah, he hit 221. The card hits 200. So here's Madlock. He's a 4 at third now, and he can't play second anymore. Yeah, just a 341 card. And he hit, well, what did he hit with it? 335, pretty close. This was your shortstop. Now, the glove is just 325. What a cool card Julio Gonzalez is. All these extra base hits, and the hits continue to 10. So that's a very respectable batting average, plus the extra base hits over on this side. It doesn't happen over here, of course, but he's got power over here to make up for it. For if you want to skip the double and the triple and go straight to the home run on the left side, that's nice to have. You know, and the 55% is going to indicate a pretty lousy overall performance. Yeah, 241. But if you use the card in the right way, you could have a lot of fun with this one. And again, he's a 3 everywhere in the infield. He's a C stealer, a 15 runner. So there's a lot. This is one of those cards that you really like to see when you start adding up the small little details that make for a capable utility player in this case. They pushed him into the starting shortstop role. He might regress to the utility player next year. All right, Tito Landrum, corner outfielder. You got to love him against lefties, and even reaching base for righties. He's a 3 in center if you need him there as well. Power against lefties, what's not to like? Gets World Series rings. He's a good luck charm, like Lonnie Smith is. Gets a World Series ring in 82. Gets another one in 83. Just got one here for the Ohio players. Hold on to guys like that. They're lucky. Jerry Mumphrey, a 3 in center field. Used to be a AA stealer for the Padres. Can still be a B stealer here. Love all these extra base hits and walks. This is a heck of a card. A 336 average achieved because of limited playing time. I mean, he was a full-time player in 79, 80, 81 the year of the strike. I don't know about what happened in 82, but really blossoms for Houston in 83. And here is your MVP, George Hendrick. What a magnificent performance. The right time in the right place. The right player at the right time. He also signed up for the Ohio player mission way back in 1973 after he left Oakland. So he goes to Ohio. Doesn't go to the Cleveland Indians. He ends up here in the Ohio players. So Cardinal in 83 with 18 homers, a 318 average. Another Cardinal, Joaquin Andujar. You saw the World Series wrap-up show. You noted that the Cardinals have the first pick in the draft and a compensation pick. They'll be picking first, 33rd, and 34th in the draft. So the Cardinals could turn it around, but a lot of their pieces are elsewhere, such as Andujar. Great postseason pitching. 2 shutouts. One against the Astros, one against the Oakland A's, 1-0, and one in the World Series against the Phillies, beating Ray Burris. Jackson Todd is just the 4th starter. Pretty innocently enough, they just needed a pitcher. They weren't expected to make a playoff run, let alone win the World Series, so they just found this guy to fill the spot. Easily replaceable if you want to, but frankly, as a 4 starter, they're underused. They don't matter too much. Just a guy, as we like to say. He's not that bad. Doesn't put a lot of guys on base. Gotta watch the homers over there, though. We're calling this Jesse Jefferson's best card of 81. Against lefties, he's much better than righties. Always like to see that out of a long man, relief 4, starter 5. And we call Roy Lee Jackson your righty who gets righties out, which is up for debate. Well, 5's an out. He actually doesn't look that good, and then over there he doesn't look very good either, but it's a 2.61 ERA. Yeah, they're not perfect, folks. They weren't trying to be. Not only that, 7 of the 8 players here are right-handed batters, and the 4 pitchers are right-handed pitchers. So, yeah, you need to get left-handed pitchers and some left-handed hitters on this team. So with that, we're going to take a look now at Ohio players, the 8 players who helped win the World Series, and see who they're going to keep, waive, and retire. All right, we're going to take a look at the 8 players for the Ohio players. The first player will be Gary Alexander. He is running out of gas. His final year is 1981, but I don't know if they make a strat card for him. His big year was 78. 81, no, they don't make that strat card. So that means he is retired. So we're going to mark him down for retirement for the 81 season. Next player is Dan Driesen. Yeah, he should be fine. He was the winner of the first base prize in Cincinnati that Lee May and Tony Perez got kicked out of, making room for Driesen. He gets the full-time role by 77 and holds on to it all the way through to about 83. Not a bad gig. Then eventually he goes to the Expos, Giants, some other teams. Much later in his career. Had a very nice long career. 81 with the Reds, he's got a down year. And why that is significant is that the Reds are awesome in 81. They get the best record in the league, yet one of their regular players has a slumping year. So you can put him on waivers for that. Or you could say, I want to keep him with the 82 card. You know, obviously you're not going to see an Ohio player card. They don't exist, right, folks? So, I mean, it doesn't really matter who is the owner of the card. In this case, he's with the Reds through 84. If you want to trade him to the Reds, that's certainly an option. But the couple years at over 800 OPS, and we talked that we need left-handed batters, so we're going to keep Driesen. We'll skip 81 and move to a future year. And we'll note, we have a comment column there. Don't take 81. All right, next guy. Oh boy, Mike Easler. So we thought Philadelphia would benefit having Carlton pitch in the World Series versus Easler, meaning that he only had 14 plate appearances, hit 429 with those appearances, but he was overshadowed by all the other guys who were bashing Carlton on this team. You see, 80, it's a 978 OPS, and all the years that follow are good, with Pittsburgh and Boston. All the years are good. That signifies keeper. 27 homers in 84. That'd be the card to get. 892 OPS. Or you trade to Boston. So we're keeping Easler, and if you want to open up the phone lines, it's hard to imagine, you know, a trade that works for Ohio with the Red Sox. And frankly, the Red Sox are usually loaded anyway. I don't know why they would need another guy like Easler. And they have so much other wealth in that offense. All right, the last hitter is Rodney Scott. And 79 and 80 would be his best years. He really benefited in that lightning quick offense the Expos had when they had Ron LaFleur and Tim Raines. Lots of stolen bases. There we are. Here's the string starting in 77. Did it with Oakland, the Cubs, and then he went to Montreal. First two places they didn't have artificial turf. Once he hit the turf in 79, he was slapping the ball around, 39 and 63 and 30 steals. This card is on the MVP list. Oh my goodness, 22nd. Interesting. Led the league in triples with this card. Interesting. All right, what happens in 81 is, yeah, he still steals bases, but he's hitting 205. Very similar performance. And whether they make the 82 card or not, I'm not sure. 81 can get you waivers, or you can keep him. Let's be opportunistic. Let's be optimistic. How about that? Let's say you want to keep a guy because you like a guy, and then if you find you've got too many, then you make a phone call and say, you know what, there's no more room on the bus. You're going to have to, you know, take a cab. So that's that. So Rodney Scott is temporarily a keeper until a better player comes along. And now we'll dig into the pitching staff. Oh boy, this is going to be significant. We're going to start with your World Series MVP, Mike Norris. It seems I've been talking about Norris for like a week now, as he just is played in so many games. And so there he is, Mike Norris, the brilliant 1980 season. Should not be forgotten, and it hasn't been. We just got a World Series win for the guy. He won 58 games in his career, 22 of those in 1980. Matter of fact, he only had 12 wins prior to that in 5 seasons. 6.8 hits divided by innings pitched. Wow. 104 whip. My goodness. Just a magnificent year. Now in 81, they actually make a playoff appearance. He's only 26 years old. That's another thing that's crazy. So he came in at 20 and probably burned himself out somehow and had arm problems. He gets a gold glove and an all-star appearance. Back-to-back gold gloves. Look at that. 14 wild pitches. The complete games go down from 24 to 12, but it's a strike year. 120 whip is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Then in 82 and 83, the wheels are coming off the card. Actually, 83, that card, as a 117 whip, it wouldn't be that bad either. But he makes a comeback at age 35 in 1990. How about that? 14 games for the Oakland A's in 1990 with an ERA of 3. I wonder if they make that card. That'd be fun for the 1990 set. How about that? So we're going to keep Norris and with the 81 card most likely. All right, next up is Vita Blue. Okay, he's getting up there now. Much older than Norris. A lot of Vitas, Vidals. So Blue began in 69 and finishes through in 86. 81, he's still good with the Giants. Still decent with Kansas City in 82. A bad 83, you don't want that one. And then 86 goes back to the Giants, has one more fling. 81 or 82 would work. 81's better, so they'll keep him. At this point, after getting the World Series ring, you might even entertain a trade. I'm only saying that because he finally achieved his purpose when they signed him back in 1972 off of Oakland. Played here 8 years trying to help build this team, and they eventually just got that World Series, so his job's done. Now he can get to the golden years of his baseball career, returning to San Francisco or the Bay Area, Oakland A's, perhaps, if he wants. Kind of cool to see him back on the Oakland A's. All right, Grant Jackson. He also didn't have a very good World Series, which makes me think that he's not long for this team. Grant Jackson actually will have a few more years in 81 and 82. 81 is split between a couple teams. That card exists, so he gets waivers. The 82 card is bad. 39 innings, not very good. So let's just give him waivers with the 81 card. Or keep him. Lefty relievers are hard to come by, and why not just keep him? We can decide that we just want to keep the guy. So there you go. That's 6 guys on the keeper list. 1 retiree, and the last player on this list is Victor Cruz. Came out of nowhere to take the vacant closing job for this season, and he ran with it. It was magnificent. Got 10 saves in 18 innings. 81, I don't think they make that card with the Pirates. Nor in 83 with the Rangers, which is a shame. We could look at both of those. 81 Pirates. He's not here. And we look at their extra players. Oh, he is there. Victor Cruz. They do make an 81 card for him. With a 2.65 ERA and a 1.4 whip. That's a little high on the whip, but it exists. You have way too many keepers. Let's just put them on waivers. So at 6-1-1, they obviously have to move a couple more keepers off the team, perhaps in a trade. Perhaps they do trade Easler and Vita Blue. Decide to keep Norris, Grant Jackson, Driesen, and Rodney Scott. Or most likely just put Rodney Scott on waivers. In any event, right now they're going to stick at 6-0-1-0-1. 32 teams, which means that this list is complete now. We are supposed to have 128 keepers, 64 on waivers, 64 on retirement. That's 4, 2, and 2 on each team. If you look at this number here, here, and here, we're plus 17, so that's 145, which is that 3-digit number. This and that is 66, and 64 minus 19 is 45. This is telling us that we got to take these plus 19 overages and in some combination retire them. Make this retirement list. So some of the waivered players, for instance, like say Tom Brookins, if he's not that good, then just send him to the retirement list if you don't think. Biff Puckaroba, Dave Revering. I mean, they qualify for waivers, but if they're not very good anymore, they can just go to the retirement list. And that is to be determined when we begin the next stage of the off season, when we start to put together the 1981-84 Fall League draft. And that will happen in the next couple weeks, and we'll start playing games in the fall. But that's it for eliminating the Ohio players. The next video, we'll just do a reconciliation of the 1980 card set. That's always fun to do. And we'll see you next time.